Oh, let's see if the laptop's working first. Good afternoon and welcome. My name's Carrie and I'm here at Carrie at 2BG Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the United Kingdom. A little bit shaky today, sorry for that. What am I going to be doing today? Well, today I'm going to be making another pop-out card. As Lynn requested last week, I found another one. I thought, oh, that looks fun. If you could see and hear me, please could you give me a thumbs up so I know that I'm at least going live, because I can't see the laptop just yet. Let me have a quick look. And are we on there? Oh, no, it's not worked. Oh, sorry. Let's see again. Let's give it another go. Maybe it'll work this time. Looks like it might be working. I can see somebody's watching anyway. If you can give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, what are we doing today? As I said, we're going to make a fun pop-up card, but we're also going to use the cute, oh so cute, meant to be stamps and coordinating dies and the beautiful papers. So without further ado, let me switch you around so you're facing the desk, the table. I'll call it the table because it's not really a desk, it's my dining table. Oh Lynn, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh lovely, I hope you got on okay. Or have you not been in yet? Poor Lynn had to have an assessment done today at the hospital. Bless her. Well, hopefully she's going to get on okay. We met this morning at Gardener Cuppa. So, I'm going to bring out this new meant to be stamp set. Now, if you don't have this stamp set, you may have the Build a Bee Punch and the... Where's it gone? I moved things around. Oh no. The Be My Valentine stamps that are in the annual catalogue. They were part of the spring offering, summer offering last year. Lovely daughter. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad you got on okay. Hi, Ali. Maybe you can tell me more later. This was from last year's catalogue. It's still current. It's if you go into the annual catalogue, I think it's under returning goodies or something like that, and then it's obviously online, so you get the stamp and the punch. But the new one is a stamp set with dies. So the stamps, I love the sentiments in this. Love this life. I think that's such a nice thing to say. Cute as can be. We are meant to be. And of course, smiley faces for our bees when we've got a big bee and a little bee on this one. And it comes with these dies. Whoa. Now I love these hexagons. I can think of lots of things are coming to mind when I look at the hexagons, which we will explore another day, not today. We are going to use one of them, but not today. So what are we going to start with? Well, actually, we're going to start with a little bit of stamping because I want to make myself some bees. And I thought I'd share with you how I do it. Okay, so we're going to take out some blocks and we're going to use the smaller of the bees for the first one. Am I going to do smaller bees or am I going to be bigger bees? Do you know what? I think I'm going to stamp and do both sizes. So we have the infill body part and then we have the stinger part or the stripes. So we're going to start with that. And just going to grab a baby wipe. Should have thought that sooner. Pop that to the side. How are you doing, Ali? Hopefully the weather's not causing you too much grief. So we've got tap, 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 nicely inked up. And we're going to put it straight down. 1, 2, 3. So we have a nice yellow body. We're actually going to do 2 of each size. So 1, 2, 3. That's for that one. And then we're going to grab the second size. And we're going to place that on a slightly smaller block over there. Give that a quick clean because I will need that block maybe. So again, simple tap, tap, tap. 1, 2, 3. I'm using Daffodil Delight because it actually is in the patterned papers that go with this meant to be stamp set. And the name of the pattern papers, I'm dreadful at this, is Cute As Can Be, which is very handy. So let's just clean those off. And we're going to transfer that stinger stamp to there. And then the larger. Oh no. Open plan garden with next door. I have 3 panels down as well. They were supposed to come today to fix them and they didn't arrive. Surprise, surprise. Maybe it's too windy. Anyway, so we now have our stripes and stingers. I don't know quite what you'd call them, but that's what I'm calling them anyway. So I'm going to ink these up. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black. So I should be able to get a nice crisp image. Now this is the fiddly part, trying to see through the phone to line up where I'm going. Well, I've gone there now, fingers crossed. Hi Lozzie, how you doing? We're just stamping some bees at the moment. 1, 2, 3, and on to the second one. And we're lining up. I'm trying to get the edge of that stinger onto that yellow, and it's a bit tricky. Now I could have stamped this onto yellow cardstock, Daffodil Delight cardstock. That probably would have been easier, but I just thought I'd show you how to build them up using the stamps. Tap, 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 tap. And we're going to go again. Oh, wish me luck. Oh, I'm going to have to move that down a little bit. I'm sorry. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not bad. Now, these are might not show as being perfectly stamped here, but I have a top tip for that, so won't panic about it. Going to have to go down again. Sorry, guys. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now so we've got that. Now the fun part about this is we get to tidy this up. I use a Stampin' Right marker in black. No, I'm not actually. Do you know what I am going to do? I'm going to grab one of my handy dandy Stampin' Blender pens. These are Blender pens. And I can check that that is clean on a scrap of card here. Oh, I've got a piece there, haven't I? Yeah, that's clean. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick up some of the ink on the inside. I don't know about you, but my ink pads always end up a bit messy. So all I'm going to do is just pick up the ink from the side, and then I'm just covering the areas that are less than perfect. There we go. That's those two. This one now. These are a godsend if you're doing stamping and you misstamp something, they really do help a lot in this evening out of colour. They're great for blending colour as well, but they have multiple uses. So, which is always useful, I think, when you have a kit that you can use for lots of other things. Okay, so to clean the black ink off of there, all I'm going to do is just scribble on the side here until it goes clear and it's back to normal, and I can use it for whatever I choose. Put the lid back on. You get 3 in a pack. Blender pens, very useful and they last a long time. Okay, so now we need to have a quick look at the dies, because we need to work out how to do our what do we call them, wings. That's the word I'm looking for. So all I'm going to do for my wings is grab another piece of cardstock. Let me find a scrap. There we go, another scrap. No, tell you what, let's do their faces. So I want, because the nice thing is we can actually decide which direction we want them to be. So I'm going to do one of each on both sides, and that will become apparent why we want that in a little while. So now these little faces, we've got wide eyes, we've got closed eyes. I like the smiley face. Let's go for a smiley face. That's a cute one. I'm going to use black ink again. Make sure you leave those the right way up, Carrie. And we're just going to tap, 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 tap. Get some good ink on there. And then we're going to go like that to give him a nice face. And we're going to turn that around. Tap, tap. And he's going to have his face going that way. And then we'll do the same again with these ones. So facing that way and facing the other direction. So we have our bees now have faces. They don't have wings yet, but they're doing okay. Now these are very small stamps, so I always make sure you put them straight back. Otherwise you're going to end up losing them, and that will not be a happy day. So next we're going to need wings, large and small, and antennae. Do we need antenna? We have a die there for antenna. Shall we stamp it? I think I'm just going to go behind the magic curtain and grab my black cardstock, and I think I will die cut them out of black rather than try and make a mess with them. So I keep my scraps inside a bag inside the packet of cardstock, just so I can hang on to these pieces like that. Okay, so there's our birds, our bees. Next, I left it over there. I'm going to use some pulp. That's Coastal Cabana. Oh, I've got Muddle Fuddled over here. Pool Party, that's the ink we need. Coastal Cabana. And we're going to use this for our wings. I could perhaps get them both on there, but I need 4, so I'm going to do them on a separate piece of card. Again, place it on the block, and on the block there. So tap, tap, tap. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Now we have wings. So we have wings, we have faces, we have stinger stripes. Let's just pop that over there, that over there. Now, we don't need any more pieces. We are going to do some die cutting. Now, when I die cut, I like to use repositionable tape. Now, the one I use is not the cheapest. There are lots of options out there. But I do recommend testing your tape before you do your project. Sometimes even low-tack tape can actually need a little bit of detacking. So we've got bodies, we've got wings, and here's the tiny little antenna. I think they're called antenna. I do believe they're called antennae. Antennas, whatever. So, and there's two of those, which is very nice because that means I can put through multiples. So how do I do it? Well, the way I work it is I would place my die in position, and then I will hold it in place with the die here. Now I'm making 4 of these. I'm not entirely convinced I'm going to use all 4, but you never know. So line up the point of the tail in the dip there, and then work your way so that all you can see is the colour inside. Okay, let's grab another piece of tape. This tape is, as I say, not the cheapest, but the nice thing is it is repositionable for quite a few goes, which makes it a little more economical. So just small pieces, and then to line these ones up. Now these cut out just the outline part, so on the punch it cuts out the heart shape so that the wings are in the heart. Took me a long time to work out what the little heart was for, and it turns out it's for the antennae. But with the dies it goes that way. So I'm only going to use my little mini, so I'm just going to cut that piece off of there because I want it to be narrow. So let's grab the plates. Now, if you've watched me before, you'll know that I have a large and a mini cut and emboss machine. Both are valuable, both have their place in my workstation. But this little guy is so useful. It's great not to have to get the big heavy one out. This is lighter weight. I think it's a 3-inch. No, it's about 8.5 centimetres, so it's just over 3 inches in plate width. So I'm just going to build my plate. But when you do this, this is the machine you have to think about your sandwich. So we have plate 1, plate 2, slightly back from the edge, then your panel being cut, and then plate 3 goes on top, and it creates this capital E shape. And that's important because that is what allows it to go into the machine and catch in the rollers properly. Oh, that was a bit squeaky, sorry. So there we have our first set of bees. 1, 2. Can you see how they've cut out? It's so cute. So I'm going to take that one and go over there, and then let's position this one. Now I'm going to try and do this slightly off screen, I think, so that I can do my best to line it up. And that looks good to me. Now when I'm doing this, I always chop these bits off because I then know I can get more on my platform. So I'm going to place the small bee, which came off of the other part of the paper, cardstock rather. Fingers crossed it's the right size, and I can build my platform now with those two on there. Let's get those cut. Oh, I hope you've all had a good weekend. It's been a very busy day today. It's Card and a Cuppa Monday, and then we have blends class tonight, so we'll be busy as bees. No penny. Every pun intended, of course. I intended the pun. Okay, so let's go back to the wings. We'll put them on our panel plates, create our sandwich and wind that through. Unpack our sandwich, and we have a lot. Look how it cuts that out, isn't that nice? Large one and a small one, and then we're going to reposition the die so that we can cut the third and fourth set of wings out. That one, and finally this little one. I don't know if this is on screen. No, it's probably not, but I promise you that's what I'm doing. Trying to line up the centre so that the stamped edges are cut. Nicely. Sorry. And the final little bit of die cutting for the moment is going to be the antenna. There's another wing. There's a big wing. Oh, that slipped. Can you see how that slipped when I was when it went through the machine? So that's a negative, so we're not going to do that. We're going to get that back, and we won't be using one of those. We'll use two small ones and one big one. If I need to, I can, of course, re-stamp and cut out the bits that I need. Right, 2 antennae at a time. I like this. In fact, in this set there are multiples of several of the smaller stamp dies, which is very useful. 1, 2, move that up, put that down, and through again we go. We'll have 4 just in case we need to do another one. Okay, let's put the machine aside for now. Sorry if it makes a big noise when it's clicking shut. Okay, now these are very small little dies, so we're going to treat them carefully, and we're going to make sure we've got all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we got those. Let's put these into I have a little magnetic dish. I'm going to pop them in there so I don't lose them. Look, it clung to the bottom because I don't want to lose those. Okay, so the bigger one, actually I'm going to put all the dies in there so I can sort them out when I've finished. Okay, let's build our, get rid of that, build our bees. I think I was going to go for, which of the larger ones shall I use? Actually, I'm going to go for this one. So I use wet glue, as you know. So I've got my bees' wings. Oh, and that came out in quite a large splodge. So I'm just going to spread that across there and there. And I'm going to pop his wings back here. Looks quite far back, but when I put his antenna on, that makes much more sense to me. So a little bit of glue on there. Fortunately, this is quite strong glue, so it will catch and hold there. And let's do the same with the little guys. Let's build them up. I've been cold most of today since I got home from Cardinal Cuppa, and now of course I've got rather warm. So can't help some folk, can you? So in a minute I'm going to have to take my cardigan off. Oh, that's a lot of glue. Let's get rid of some of that. Position him on there. So there's 2, and then we'll do number 3. We'll put that up there in case we need him. Okay, that's going around there like that. And then his antenna. Then we are finished creating our bees. Oh, that one's going to have to come up in my hand because that needs to be straightened out a bit. There, that'll do. That gives him a little bit of character. That's what I like to say anyway. Okay, so that's that done. Put those to one side. We'll leave these guys up here. We don't need them just yet. Let me just take my my cardigan off. Okay, what's next? Well, next we're going to make our card base. And to do that, I've already pre-cut my card panel for the front. Isn't this paper so fun? It's very similar. In fact, I think they are the same as the ones that we had last year, but with different colours. I quite like this too. On Saturday, I'm hosting my first scrapbooking class. It's an intro to scrapbooking, and we are actually using these products. So I can take these along to show the ladies. They're all ladies this time. You don't have to do scrapbooking separate from card making. There is a huge amount of crossover. Okay, so that's the front. What am I going to put on the front? I was going to do that, wasn't I? I was going to use one of these small hexagons and put a hexagon on the front here. Now, these hexagons have cut edges inside and out, so this is going to cut a frame and an insert. I also need a piece of petunia pop. This colour is called petunia pop, and I'm going to pop it on that piece there, because again it's going to go through my little die cutting machine. So I'm going to do both of those so that I end up with 2 frames and 2 inners. That is the plan. Wish me luck. So let's go for that. And there. I knew the machine would come back out again. This is going to be a die cut heavy design, but it doesn't have to be difficult. Don't have to make a design. So you've got your aperture, you've got your hexagon, and you have the beautiful frame. That is so useful, I think. I will use that a lot. So I'm just carefully lining up my piece of patterned paper that is just the right size. I don't need the frame on this one. I only need the inside. Sorry about that clackety noise. See, oh, there we go. See, it was quite right up to the edge on that. So we now have our frame and our floral to go on the middle, and that's going to go on the front there. So I'm not going to waste this. Hi Debs, nice to see you so soon. I'm not going to waste this. I am going to use that because I'm going to use that in another project. So I tend to put things like that back in with dye. And look, there is the frame from the flowers. Wondered where that had got to. Now this die does have the release holes, which is very handy when you're die cutting and things get stuck. So, oh, we could have it that way. Decisions. Now it's giving me choices, and that's always dangerous. Which way do we like? No, I like the flower on the inside, but they will be staying and used for another project. Then I will need to bring my black ink back and my stamps, because I want to put a sentiment on the front. And what shall I go for? Love this life, cute as camp. No, I'm going to go love this life. I like that sentiment, and I also have a plan for it. Cunning plan. I used to like that program. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a very old program from the BBC called Blackadder. It's very popular. I'm sure many of you know what it is. So let's get my board out, nice stamp, and let's ink it up. So tap, 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 tap. A cunning plan, was Baldrick's saying, wasn't it? Okay. I've got a smaller one. Let's see if I've got a smaller strip. Oh, now that is just perfectly sized strip. That's perfect. Sometimes plans do come together. 1, 2, 3. And there's the sentiment for the front. The front is going to be very plain, but very simple. So let's put this stamp back on there. Grab our sentiment, and we're going to use that on the front there. I don't think that needs anything else, do you? What do you think, guys? Is that enough on its own? Yeah, it is. I like it the way it is. So how am I going to do this? Well, first of all, I'm going to pop some glue on the back of my hexagonal frame. And the reason I'm gluing the frame down first is to make sure that I have, do I have the points up or the points across? Points across, points up, points across, I think. Okay, I'm using my grid to try and get straight, but please be aware that because I'm doing this under the camera, or through the camera lens of my phone, it can be a little tricky to try and get a straight line and an equal side, because as you can see, that's not equal at all. Go better, Carrie, do better. There, that's better. If it's not, that's what's happening. This paper is double-sided. Look how that's beautifully positioned in there. Oh, shame it's the wrong way round for it, but how cute is that? Okay, so stop playing carry, turn it over, and we're going to use this side. When these die cuts out, you do get a slight burring over on the edges of the cut edges. That's how I always try and find the right side of the die cut. It's not always to do with the pattern or anything else. It can sometimes just be about creating the right shape. Now, there we go. We'll use some 3D foam, some good old dimensionals. Do I want them? No, I quite like that, just white. Just going to use 3 dimensionals, one on each end and one in the middle. Not too many. Can't overdo the dimensionals, can we now, Debs? It's a standing joke. Okay, so we're keeping the front nice and simple. And we're going to just check that's fairly straight. And that is the front of our card. But that is just the start. Now we're going to go for the fun part. And put this to one side. Pop it up there. We've got our bees, our busy bees. A trio of bees. This we're going to put aside because we don't want that for the moment. And we're going to bring in another piece of paper. Now this pattern paper is 12 by 12, which is perfect for this project. How cute is that page? I love this. Look at this little guy here, he's so cute. But we're actually going to use this side because I love checks, and I think because of what's going to happen on the inside, this is a better choice for me. Okay, so what does this measure? It measures 10 centimetres by 28.8 centimetres. I'm sorry if the background noise is annoying anybody. Oh, turned it round and round and got it in the wrong place. But dinner in this house has to go ahead early tonight because I have a class. So again, this measures 10 by 28.8. So I'm going to score it in the middle at 14.4. So that would be half of that. And then we should be able to fold that in half. Now this part of the card, if you follow Mitosu Crafts, will look quite familiar. But this is a lady in Australia did an adaptation to make it a little different. And I liked the way she did it. So I'm going to give this a go. So what do we need now? So we've got the paper. We've folded it in half. This is going to be the inside. So I'm going to use my pencil marking here. And we're going to mark across at 3.5 centimetres. And again at 3.5 on from the left. So we got 3.5 from going in from each side. And then we're going to measure down 3.5. On both sides as well. 3.5 centimetres. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring out, I'm just going to use a bone folder, drops things, just to give that a quick squish. I'm going to bring our trimmer back in because this is what I use for scoring. If you have a scoreboard, of course, you could use that. And now I'm just going to line up my 2 points in the gully of the trimmer. I've got the paper folded and I'm going to score through both layers. So you can see there, hopefully. Maybe not, but you can feel it if you can't see it. So, and again on the other side. So we're going 3.5 down, 3.5 across, and then scoring on the diagonal. So let's put this out away, and then this is where the fun comes in. We're going to open this out, and we're going to very gently fold our diagonal scores. And at the moment I'm folding them back that way. They're not staying there. I'm actually going to then turn it over and get them to go the other way. But I want them to line up nice and neatly before I put any real pressure through. But by doing it in both directions, it loosens the fibres in the paper and helps get a smoother fold. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So we now have this action. So let's bring our card base back in. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere it to the card base. When you do this, make sure you have your corners tucked in, because you do not want to put any glue near that mechanism. So we're just going to go round the 3 sides and across the top and a squiggle in the middle. When we place it down, we've got the score line in the centre. We want it to be just inside the score line, but at the same time we want to make sure that we are equal on both sides. So we'll give that a squish down, and then we're going to put the glue back in the same place again. This time we're going to close the lid, the card front down, because we should all be in the right place now. And there we have the mechanism for our pop out. So what are we going to use for the pop out? Well, I decided that I thought I would bring in, can't decide on those yet, but I thought I would use the perennial postage, because I think they will fit in there. But all I'm going to do is just see, yes, they will fit in there. So they're going to fit in there. Maybe I could get away with the bigger one. No, that's not going to work for me. Let's go for this smaller one. And all we're going to do is, I thought I had another piece of paper. Did that piece of patterned paper go? Maybe I've moved it over here. Who knows? It'll turn up once I've finished, I'm sure. Okay, let's just grab another piece of the paper. There is a pattern piece of paper in here that has lots of little cute flowers, and I thought that was very sweet. So now I'm just going to measure the inside, the internal measurement of this die, and because I will die cut the panel out of green and then cut a piece for the inside. So I'm going to be cutting it at 4 centimetres by 6 centimetres. We might have to cut a smidge off of that, but we shall wait and see. So this paper has this lovely stripe on the other side. So we're going to go 4 centimetres. Cut, and then we're going to go 6 centimetres that way and 6 centimetres that way. Now, do we want it on a green mat or do we want it on a Petunia Pop matte? I actually quite like the green, I think. But you decide, ladies. What do you think? Green or Petunia Pop? Whatever you're thinking. We've got to get these cut out. So we're back to the die cutting, I'm afraid. I'm just cutting that. Find the plates again. We'll try the green first. We can always change our mind. Well, like that. Push that up a little bit. Top tip here. If you're cutting a straight edged shape with your die cutting machine, and if you have the space, if you put it so that the die isn't straight edge to straight edge, if you slightly offset it like that, when it goes through smoother, and you don't have to worry about it jolting or anything. Well, that's my experience anyway, so I would call that a top tip. So there's one. We may have to rejig trim the patterned papers, but we won't know until we've got the panels out. Okay. Probably have the die cutting machine back out again in a minute, but for now we're done. Let's put that over there, back in that magnetic dish. Okay, let's try these. Oh, look, they're miles too wide, aren't they? Yeah, they need to be chopped off by about 1/2 centimetre. So let me bring in my trusty little guillotine. And that is measuring 4, and it needs to be 3.5. And 6, but it needs to be 5.5.
It's a top tip, would have helped with all my die cutting yesterday.
Sorry it's a day late. Now, does that look okay, or do we think we need a little smidge off of there? I'm going to go for a little smidge off of there. That's the advantage to a guillotine, in my opinion. You can take off little bits. You can if you're dexterous with your trimmer, but that's better. There. So we're going to use that as a template. Grab a pencil and line that up together so that I don't have to actually measure. I can just trim it off by markings. Okay, there we have our 2 panels. Let's get those stuck onto there. I do love this. Oh, look at that. I love the stripes. No, you can't put the stripes on there, Carrie. No, not today. Although I have no problem putting stripes and checks together. I think for this, I like the little flowers. So there we have panel 1. Let's get to panel 2. There we go. Panel 1 and panel 2. Now, these are going to have my little buzzy bee friends on them. That's why I wanted them facing each way, so they could look at each other. I may put one up and one down. But it could be looking at each other like that. That's cute. I like that. Now, I am keeping these flat because it's on the inside of the card and I don't want any more bulk on there. If you wish to, you could put them up on 3D and they and they would be fine if you used a belly band or put the card in a box. So they're going to go like that. So now when this is closed, can you see this score line here? We're going to apply our adhesive in that panel there only. Don't want anything to impinge on the panel. And we're going to take our bottom edge and we're going to line that up with that panel there. So we're going to hold it in place so the glue can grab, and that now folds in and pops out. And then we're going to repeat the process on the other side. Again, keeping it in the centre of the mechanism at the bottom. And this time we're going to put that panel on there. So now we have our little panels will now close onto each other. Now you do have to take the time to just gently poke them in the position to start with. The more you do this, the more it will slide in easily. I mean, it's closed. Opening it is the fun part. Looks like wings. So what are we going to do with this big one? Well, I thought it would be rather nice to have him there. And I think I'm going to bring back these pieces from before, because I think we could write a sentiment or stamp a sentiment here. Maybe we need a green one. He could go in the middle at the top there. What do you think? Could put that up from there like that. Oh no, I'm getting too carried away now. I'm making it too busy, too fussy. Put him to one side. Do the sentiment. Do I want a white sentiment? Oh, white or petunia pop? Let me know, please, while I grab the bits I need for the sentiment. I can't decide. Cute as can be, or we are meant to be. Let's go for it. Turn it over so I can read it. That'll fit in there nicely. Okay, let's get a block. Got a pile of stamps on it at the minute, but that's okay. Turn that over. So we've got our sentiment, petunia. Thank you, Ali. We're going to use basic black ink. Ink up our stamp with a good dollop of ink. Close that. Bring back my stamping pierce mat and turn that like that. We are meant to be 1, 2, 3. We are meant to be. I like that. And we can put our larger Buzzy Bee there to join his friends. Like that. What do you think? Do we like that? do we want to put that round it? I'm kind of drawn to using it because I've got it there now. Do you do that? Actually, yeah, I'm going to use that. So again, I'm going to use the frame before I put the centre in, because the one thing I will say is when you do these, because they're quite fine, I think, what are they? They're about 1/4 of a centimetre in diameter. They will stretch and come out of position if you're not careful. So we have our sentiment then in there. Oh, see, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. Happened. Sentiment on. This is a very simple decoration for this, but if you let your imagination grow wild, look what you could put on there as well. And then we're going to have our buzzy bee there, just to keep it simple. And just make sure he's inside your card line. Okay, now I do have a little top tip. This, when I'm closing it, is catching on there, so all I'm going to do is do a little bit of jiggery pokery and put a little bit of glue adhesive behind there and press and hold. Oh, my dinner smells good. There. So now he wants to go the other way. No, you can go that way. There we have it. Our fun pop-up card with the beautiful meant to be stamps and the gorgeous, cute as can be papers. On hindsight, would I do some things differently? Maybe. I would perhaps use yellow Daffodil Delight cardstock and stamp onto that rather than colour. I don't know. What would you do? What would you do differently? That's the fun of this. Everybody does things differently. Oh, thank you, Kathy. And that is this week's card. I hope you enjoyed the pop-out feature. It's such a simple way to do it. You can have lots of fun with that. I know Jay put a third little pop-up panel here, so if you want to see where he's done it, go and have a look. It's Matosu Crafts. But I quite like the simplicity of this version. And I like the way they flap open. Okay, well, that's all from me this week. I'll see you in February. Thank you, Ali. That's lovely. Oh, you're okay, Kathy. Hope you've had a good day. I've had a very busy day. I will see the lovely Lynn and Ali later this evening, in about an hour and a half's time, I suspect, for another class. So take care, ladies, gents. Have fun. Look after yourselves. Bye-bye.